Dust off those playing cards, it's poker night, bitch. Well, I'm back to Fog Entertainment. You can call this movie The Joker, or you can call it Poker Night. Regardless, it was a good movie.
It was alright, and Poker Night definitely brought out all the big stars. I felt like we were on the red carpet here.
Aye.
It was like a who's who. If you like your Sons of Anarchies, if you like your Breaking Bads, then you'll see some famous names in this cast list. It was weird because you start out not knowing anybody, and then literally within like a 3-4 minute spell, it was boom, boom, and boom. And by that I mean you get Ron Perlman, Giancarlo Esposito, and Titus Welliver.
Three great guys, and immediately, right?
AKA Clay, Gus, and Jimmy O.
Didn't matter what the movie was about. I was immediately
interested. Yes.
Like Ron first appeared, and you're like, "That's good." Then Gus appeared, and Jimmy appeared.
What the hell is this?
What's going on here, buddy?
The whole movie like did incorporate flashbacks and like imaginations and looking through the lenses of other people's eyes, and for a moment I thought we were seeing what we wanted to see. Sons, Breaking Bad.
And Sons again, damn it. But we didn't get that. But you know what? We think the flashbacks were a wee bit confusing at times, but I mean, at least it was...
I like flashbacks. I like to incorporate them, but I feel like that's done better over TV series when you've got a lot more time to tell stories, and then the flashbacks can be a more integral part of the story. But this movie, like, I would say at least 50% of this movie was flashbacks.
At least. Yeah, I mean, an hour 44 running time, I would say at least half
You've got to keep in mind, every scene at the poker table is a flashback.
Yeah.
Or not even
then there's flashbacks within a flashback then.
Yeah, so I mean it might have been an hour 44 runtime, but I would say probably an hour of that or more was actually
at the poker table.
Therefore, it did feel a little bit hard to follow the real-time story. Which I did not like.
And then also, like, you've got the flashbacks, and like they're not really making them look any younger. I get it. It was kind of like their current form, but that puts you off even more, in my opinion.
And the thing is, I felt like the flashbacks were a lot more interesting than anything that was happening.
Yeah.
In the real-time events.
No, they were. And the movie kicks off with, like, Ron Perlman's character, Calabrese. What a weird name. Calibrated fucking bikes. And, yeah. It's like, "You're going to make a good detective, kid." Slaps him on the back, get out of a container ship, and then off they go. And, like, immediately you're thrown into the plot line, and it's like, we don't want to give you that, though. We want to take you back to Flashback City.
Yeah, I know. Jeter did say wisdom is very good, but it's something that you can only use after you're already fucked, essentially.
Yeah, and he's talking about hindsight. He's like, you can only use it when you look in the rearview mirror.
Which is true. I mean, hindsight, you can't really have hindsight before something happens. Hindsight is always something that you look back on thinking, well...
No, I guess you can use previous hindsight on something that hasn't happened yet.
And you only gain wisdom through events that happen.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it's alright saying wisdom and hindsight are two great things to have, and that is true, but normally, by the time you've got them, you're already in a fucked up situation.
You're not looking good.
And that's basically the situation that Jeter was in. So he finds himself responding to a call. He was intoxicated while doing it, and he ends up getting taken down
by the man. Yeah, he talks about all. He's like narrating this. He talks about all the problems that he did. He should have went back for backup. He didn't. And then he proceeds to go alone. And obviously, if you're a police officer, it's a 2-man job. And you know what? If he goes back, makes the call here, everything's avoided.
Yeah, everything turns out good for him.
Everything would have been turning out good for him, but then he gets his flashlight, he's like moping around, he's like, "What's going on here?" And it turns out what forced him into moving here as well is that he recognised the girl who was running. It was Amy. And that's who he was looking for, because it looks like these two might have had a relationship. There's a lot to go into, but I guess that's a wee bit later on. But he does flash the light at her, and then the Joker guy, comes out of nowhere and fucking tasers him.
And this is when Poker Night truly begins. From this point onwards, the entire story interchanges from Poker Night and the detectives telling stories from their past and the current present time, where we have Yeater, who is kidnapped while he was trying to rescue Amy. So the 5 detectives take turns in telling their stories. Basically, if you lose the hand, then you have to tell a story. about the time in your past, where like your most memorable moment from your time as a member of the law. So they all take turns: Calabrese, Bernard, Cunningham, Maxwell, and Davis.
Davis, Corey William Large. What a name.
The man.
And there's no real particular order to start with these guys since we're wrapping them all up at once. So we may as well start with Titus Welliver's Maxwell's story, because this one was a little bit gay, so we may as well get into it.
Yeah, so basically he has to try and find someone who's been raping little boys, and he goes undercover.
Alright, little boys, alright. I mean, they're like 20-year-old. Like, it's not like they're 2-year-old.
Alright, but this guy's been killing, just
Male
barely
prostitutes.
legal. Barely legal male prostitutes, so he decides to go undercover, and it's a good job that he went undercover when he was young, because it would have been weird to see him go undercover as his like 60-year-old self.
Yes, it would not have worked.
But he goes undercover, and it was like very strange, because the guy takes him out into the woods and he like ties him up to a tree, and he's got like a fetish of cutting off the pinky fingers. But don't worry, because Maxwell's supposed to be protected. There is 3 snipers in place. However, they all get distracted. One of them is on the phone having a breakup because his wife's leaving him or something.
One of them's taking a dump because he's too much Mexican.
And the other one is too busy chasing kids in the wood for smoking pot. So these 3 snipers are leaving Maxwell here basically to get raped and then have his finger cut off.
I'm sorry, but those 3 excuses aren't good enough for me.
No, they're not. It's a bit of a joke when you think the snipers are supposed to be like, like top level guys, and they're...
No, I mean, I can maybe accept one of them, but all 3 of them?
No, I'm pretty sure if you're a sniper, your job is to keep your target and your focus at all times.
If you want to talk about no luck, Maxwell's got no luck.
But he manages to headbutt the nonce, or not the nonce really, but the rapist,
the killer,
the pinky killer guy,
the rent boy killer,
and that's his story. Basically, he almost got his pinky cut off, but he had to think in the moment.
I totally understand why I did not want to tell this story.
Yeah, it's not a great story to tell, but I guess nothing really happened to him unless he's changing how the story finished.
Which, there's a lot of that.
Then Davis, we seen him chase somebody, basically a long chase, results in the guy trying to speed away in a car. He hits Davis injures his leg, but he manages to shoot him through the windscreen, and it turns out Davis can now no longer walk without a cane.
Yeah, it took him 8 years to catch this guy, so...
8 years.
An 8-year case. And then Cunningham, who the case got closed on his part, but then he went to the bar, talked him into the fact that...
Yeah, followed this guy, bought him 3 drinks... Then basically revealed the entire case to the killer, saying, yeah, today's a great day. I've been following this guy for 2 years, and it turns out I just found the bodies of my teammates, my
colleagues, damn it.
My colleagues, my officers.
Right, I would assume this is a small town, right? So would this guy who's not murder suspect number 1 not be a bit wary of a police officer coming in, literally speaking to him about this?
True, you'd think he would have bolted straight away or something, or maybe that would make him look suspicious.
Or you would think that he would know that Cunningham must know who he is if he was got anything to do with this.
So Cunningham says he's found the bodies, even though that is a lie. Then he tailgates the killer to the woods, and the guy...
Well, he doesn't literally tailgate him, because if he did, I think it would have been... There's a few car lengths.
A few car lengths, but really at the end of the day, I mean, he's behind him, and the guy... Maybe he was too drunk. And the guy goes to check for the bodies, and it turns out that Cunningham was lying, which he was. But Cunningham now knows where the bodies are, and it turns out the next day they digged up the bodies and they arrested the man and they put him behind a cell for, I think he got 25 years or to get life.
Life?
Anyway,
25 to life. So.
Then Bernard told his story. A little bit weird, Bernard. It cost him a jaw.
Yep, and 18 stitches.
But it was worth it, because he caught the kid that murdered his parents.
Yeah, he's like, you wanted to do it, you didn't want to take orders from them anymore, boy. And then the boy turned around and started punching him. Lucky he survived this, to be honest. But I guess he would have looked a bit weak if he got killed by a 16-year-old.
I don't think he'd have been punching Gus Fring,
No, Gus Fring would have been got the box cutter out, but
then Calabrese's story was, well...
There wasn't really a story with him, because I don't think he actually lost a hand. He just has numerous flashbacks, and all really centre around Jeter, don't they? Really?
Yeah, maybe...
saving Jeter's life, that was kind of what his was.
True, I suppose. Yeah, so he also gets his own story in current time as well.
He is the lieutenant, he's a looked up upon a lieutenant, he's top man, everyone looks up to this guy, he is like the leader, I would say, of this group.
Do you want to rank the stories?
Yes, I will quickly rank them. I will go. I will go. Davis, Cunningham, Bernard, Maxwell.
I take it that's in order?
Yes.
From worst to best?
No, from best to worst.
Really? I like Maxwell's story.
Well, no, I liked it, but for me, it's completely unbelievable. Like, I think he's fucking completely. I
like Cunningham's too, actually.
I think Bernard's was pretty bland.
Yeah, I didn't really
Davis's was actually explained pretty well, and there was a bit of banter in there where like they changed things up.
True. I liked Maxwell's and Cunningham's though.
Yeah, I think they were a step above the rest for me.
What, Maxwell's?
Yeah, no, Davis. You said Davis and Cunningham?
I said Maxwell's and Cunningham's.
Well, I meant. I don't need to fucking greet about it. I meant Davis and Cunningham's. But from this point on, there is only really one story to focus on, and that is the current timeline, which features the man's house. We've got Jeter and we've got Amy. Amy's doing a lot of crying. Jeter's a bit drugged out his dome, doesn't really know where he is. And for me, I think this guy dropped the ball quite a few times, and we're going to get stuck straight into it, aren't we?
Yes.
Because the man, he was wearing a creepy mask. What did you rate the mask in terms of horror movie masks?
That's a decent mask, isn't it? It's a basic horror movie mask.
It is. I mean, this movie is actually labelled as a thriller / crime. I wouldn't. I mean, you said it was a horror, but you said it was labelled as a horror, but for me, it's not really.
No, it was. It did have a horror. It did have horror in the genre when I checked it out.
So it's a thriller, crime, horror. I think these are my favourite sort of horror movies. I don't like your jump scare ones.
Slashers?
Yes. Well, I mean, it's not that I don't like them. I don't mind them.
They kind of like mystery.
Like, for me, I actually think this plot kind of reminds me of, like, Saw, where you've got, like, a police storyline.
Funny you say that, because that's kind of what I thought this movie was going to turn out to be. When we originally get introduced to all the detectives and then Jeter gets kidnapped, I thought he was basically going to take out the detectives one by one.
Did you?
I thought he was going to kidnap all the detectives and Jeter would have to try and save them, but be unsuccessful or whatnot.
I guess that would have been a cool dynamic.
I thought that was how it was going to play out, rather than just have all the other detectives sitting around the table playing poker in flashback scenes. I think that would have been probably better.
Yeah, but we still do get some of the detectives' involvements in this, but...
Basically, Jeter tries to get out of his cuffs, get out of the room that he has been kidnapped in and he has been locked in, and he just fails on multiple times. Even when he gets his hands on the man, he's not really successful. He gets beaten up a lot of the time. There's one occasion he gets himself super glued to the wall.
Yes.
Which I don't even know how that happens, to be honest, but...
I'm not saying it's impossible, but I think for one person to do that to another man is... I mean, you need some serious strength. First of all, you've got to glue the wall and then actually hold him up. And 34 bottles of super glue, though.
It would be uncomfortable, though, wouldn't it?
Yeah. I just couldn't imagine... I know super glue, like, but I mean, super glue holding 185 pounds or whatever of body weight... I just can't really buy that.
Especially if it's only really stuck to a couple of areas.
Yeah.
It's not like he was, like, planked out on the wall. It was mainly just his chest and his knees.
Yeah.
And, like, the side of his face.
And a bit, it's like, I guess, forearms kind of in a weird way.
But, I mean, that would have been super painful. I think it would actually probably been better the way he has to break free for it, because I just think hanging for the wall, that would have hurt more.
Yeah. It would have, absolutely, it would have hurt more, but I just think this guy, all his attempts were very feeble. Like, the dummy on the couch, he hits it with a gun, then he realises, oh fuck, that's no him. Then that's when he gets caught and then super glued to the wall. I think for a detective, I think our main guy was booked pretty weak.
Yeah, I mean, everyone talked him up as this, like, upcoming, captain, and the fact he could be a lieutenant, and he could be this, and he could be that. But he did seem like a bit of a dumbass. He did.
But I guess in his own story, it is explained that he kind of lucked into being a detective. Isn't it? When he came across the container ship, because he is reviewing some guy's phone bill, so to speak, that's up 701%. Because if you had a phone bill that's up 701%, you'd be greeting about it, wouldn't you?
You wouldn't be too happy. That's a big percentage.
Yep. So he
big increase.
Yeah. So he decides to follow the phone cable. And he manages to find a container ship that's filled with bodies. It was like Dexter down at the docks.
It was Dexter down at the docks.
And then as the
Surprise, motherfucker.
Surprise, motherfucker. The door opens, he's like, police. And then some guy, I believe by the name of Mr. Bootles / mentor, opens fire, but manages to get a few shots into him and drops him. And he is now the hero.
And this was the first ever person he'd shot at.
Yes, first ever person he shot at and he's killed him.
Good. It's a good ratio.
It was a pretty good ratio. We did see the other 2 attempts he'd fired his gun.
Not really at anybody though.
They were kind of embarrassing, especially the one where he got dragged into the
hanging
car,
at the car.
the shots are just like trailing up the entire side of the police vehicle. But the significance with the mentor is, it turns out he is the mentor of the man, isn't he?
Yeah, and this is what basically leads him to capture Jeter, because he says that his entire life really was, dedicated to impressing Mr. Bottles. Bootles even.
Mr. Bootles, weird name. We did get a bit of backstory with the man, right? And it was funny seeing this guy in a mask, like the office life.
I know it. Yeah, we've seen previously when he had his family, and I believe he kills his wife.
Yep.
But the funniest part for me was, I know it's not really funny, but see when you see the note and it says goals in life, number 1, what is it?
Fuck little girls.
Fuck as many little girls as possible. Then number 2, kill anybody who gets in the way of number 1.
I thought it was funny.
For life goals, I thought I was pretty
sick. But he's got loads of pictures up, but you don't really get this. I mean, obviously they probably don't want to show it, but you didn't really get the sort of vibe for this guy that he was like a serial paedophile.
Or else why? Yeah, true.
I'm not saying maybe the vibe's the wrong word to say, but there wasn't much evidence that he was. It just seemed like he is like this deranged guy.
Keep in mind though, he only kidnapped Amy to get to Yeater, so it's not like he kidnapped Amy because that's part of his fantasy. Maybe he does go for younger girls than Amy, but by the way, Amy Halston Stage played a character in the Quarry horror game, by the way, if anyone...
There you go, but the man, he was out and then Yeater pulled him back in, damn it. And I think, what's Yeater's relationship with Amy? The man took a few snaps of Yeater.
Yeah, this is pretty strange. When Yeater first meets Amy, she's like 17, so I don't know how much time's passed since then, and Amy is also the daughter of Maxwell, and
the man refers to her as jailbait, so obviously she still must be underage.
I think she's 17, and Maxwell clearly does not like Yeater, so we could only assume that's because he knows that Amy and Yeater are getting close, and he doesn't appreciate that.
He doesn't appreciate that, and I actually like the reveal that Maxwell was the father of Amy.
Yeah, I liked it too. It was good.
So the man lets Amy give a phone call away, but as soon as she rings her daddy, he then takes the phone off her. He's like, "You bring the money, you dumb bastard."
He only asked for 10k though.
10k?
I mean, considering your life's fucked if you get caught and all this shit, you'd think you'd want more. Because see,
maybe 10K... just thinks the average man ain't going to bring that.
No, but if Maxwell
involved in the police.
Yeah, but if Maxwell is a former detective, then you could imagine he's got a decent wee lump sum put away.
Aye. I'd agree with that.
Doing all this shit for 10k, because 10k wouldn't last you long. Especially $10,000. I mean, that's like what?
But the whole, I know what you mean.
$8,000.
But the whole objective is not for him to get money. It's just literally for him to use Maxwell in his game.
True. So, I mean, you think it's a 10k bonus, or do you not even think he's going to use that 10k?
I don't think the plan was
flush it down the toilet.
There's a lot of theories for this movie, but we'll get to it in the end. But Maxwell turns up. He sees a guy walking his dog. He holds him at gunpoint. He's like, "What the fuck are you doing here? Where's my daddy, you son of a bitch?"
The guy plays innocent. "Oh, I don't know. I was just walking my dog." Blah, blah, blah. And then Maxwell, for some reason, lets his guard down and he walks back to his car. He apologises. And then the dog walker says that, "I hope you get your daughter back." And at this point, like, you can just see the facial expressions that this guy is obviously the man. But Maxwell doesn't see it before it's too late and he gets tasered.
Yeah, and I tell you what, right? I think Maxwell got hyped up as this great cop. I think he's pretty weak here. I mean, let's bear in mind here, this house is like the only house for miles. And this guy's just walking his dog here.
Yeah,
like should you not fucking clicked on?
Hey, where's your house, mate?
Where's your house, the man? But
yeah, I know people take their dogs on long walks, but
yeah, 5.2 miles there, long walk, which probably means 10.4 if you're looking for a, there and back sort of job. But yeah, Maxwell gets dragged in. He's bound. He's got ropes around him. He's like, "If you move, I'll fucking end you, buddy." And then at this point, this is when Yeater manages to free himself and get to Amy. But when he frees himself, he sees a gun, doesn't he?
Yes.
He sees a gun, damn it. And he manages to get the gun. Well, he doesn't get the gun necessarily because guess what? What does the man do? He puts Maxwell into the room.
Yeah, so he puts Maxwell into the room instead, and we see Jeter. He shoots Maxwell unknowingly, though. He thinks it's the man because he's wearing the man's mask.
Amy is screaming for us like, no, 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 because she spotted her dad's boots.
Yeah, she spotted the boots. Maxwell goes down, and then Jeter unmasks Maxwell, and
damn,
it's Maxwell. It's not the man. The man then comes in and takes down Jeter, and we see in a flashback that the man was actually forcing Maxwell to go in first. He had him at gunpoint and he forced him through the door. So Jeter then basically loses control, essentially, because he's killed an innocent man. It's only the second man he's ever shot.
Right. See if Maxwell's like this refined detective that we've, just put over and this movie's attempted to put over. He's actually went into this room at gunpoint and like not attempted to like disarm this guy, or like, he knows his daughter's in that room.
True, but he might have been told, like, if you do anything, she's dead, Like.
Yeah, I know, but fuck's sake, come on, Maxwell. He even goes in with a gun.
Don't worry though, because Calabrese is here to save the day.
Calabrese is here. Like it's so weird because you've just got Jeter tied up again, and Calabrese comes in.
Calabrese talks about how he heard a phone call, and we get the man in his normal attire answering the door, says nothing happened around here. Calabrese comes in, mentions it's the only house around here in 3 miles.
So, buddy, what's going on here? There must be some sort of inconvenience going on here, Calabrese. But and he also says, like, here, I don't have a buddy in the police car, so you don't need to make 3 pots of coffee.
How obvious is this man making it? The man goes to shoot Calabrese, but Calabrese manages to disarm him, and he handcuffs him.
Yep, handcuffs him to the radiator. And this was all explained in a flashback, by the way. We didn't actually take time, didn't actually go timeline-wise. He was explaining this to Jeter. Then Jeter's sitting there, sort of like zoning out. He's like, wait, you handcuffed him? He's like, what did you do it with? He's like, my gun, my 38. No, what did you boom! Calabrese is dead.
Yeah, that's a good scene.
No, it was, and it was a pretty good headshot, but again, like, he showed up.
Blood just sprays all over Jeter.
Like, he showed up by himself.
I mean, how is he supposed to know that the handcuffs wouldn't work, though?
No, I'm not, but I'm just on about, like, why would he shoot this guy's house by himself? Like, surely, would he not bring Bernard or something?
But he kind of got the job done, didn't he?
Okay, he did, but realistically, I mean, handcuffs should work, but come on.
So why didn't they work? The guy got a master key?
Maybe. No, I don't know, maybe he snapped off the radiator.
No, but Jeter knew that the handcuffs wouldn't work, so what was it? What was special about the handcuffs?
He must have you're right, must have had a master key.
I don't think they explained that. But Jeter seemed to know that the handcuffs wouldn't work, so there must be a reason he knew that.
There must be a reason, I'm not too sure why. Maybe he just knows that this guy's a slippery bastard and he looks smarter than him in any fucking way. He's 5 steps ahead, so to speak.
Maybe he should have superglued him to the wall then.
He should have fucking superglued him to the wall, but he doesn't. And at this point, it is all over for Calabrese. Calabrese is dead. He hits the deck. At this point, you do think the man is literally going to kill Jeter, but he doesn't. Because why is he wanting to keep him alive? And this is when we get the flashbacks, and he's hung up in the poker room. And they're like, why does he want to keep you alive, Jeter? But you're dead. You're dead, Maxwell. You're dead, Cal. But yeah, but why does he want to keep you alive? And it's like, the guy Kelt was his mentor. That's why he's keeping him alive, damn it.
Yeah, and he wants him to pay.
He wants him to pay, buddy. But, like, realistically, whether or not Jeter knows why he's being kept alive here, does the objective still not remain the same? Like, he needs to fucking escape. Like,
Yeah, escape.
I think it's kind of irrelevant whether he knows why he's there or not.
Yeah, that's not going to help you in that time, is it?
Yeah, it's not like the objective of Jeter's game is to figure out why he's there.
Yeah, like a saw trap or something.
Yeah, like, he finds out, and even when the man's like, so you find out, he doesn't really give a fuck. He's like, personally, I thought you would have found out earlier than that. But it doesn't matter, guys, because it's time for Jeter to escape. He looks down, he sees Calabrese's keys, he manages to do this flick of the century, flicks it and catches it, boom!
Yeah, it was pretty good. I mean, with these skills, maybe instead of detective, he should have been a footballer.
He should have been. Manages to uncuff one of his hands and then enter the man. He pretends to be asleep, and as the man is down at Calabrese's side, he starts choking the man out. The man is getting absolutely choked here, and then he passes out, and then what does the big man do? Jeter, he ties the man up, he handcuffs him up, and I thought at this point, right, it looks...
And he takes his gun.
He does take his gun, and at this point, I kind of thought they was setting him up this entire time. I mean, the whole tattoo as well.
Yeah. Why'd they give him a tattoo?
Yeah, I mean, why is he giving him the tattoo? All this evidence, like this, all the camera work that he spots. Like, holy fuck! It shows me shooting him. It shows me shooting Maxwell. There's no real proof that this other guy was here. Holy moly! What is going to go on?
Yeah. So Eater runs out with Amy in his hands. The police are outside. He puts her down. The police tell him to get down and drop the gun. He doesn't drop the gun though. He's trying to explain what's happening inside, and then when he does attempt to drop the gun, he realizes that holy shit,
it's super glued.
the gun is super glued to my hand. So he can't drop the gun. He ends up getting taken down by the police. He's shot, although it turns out not to be a mortal wound. He's then locked up. But after 3 months, thankfully, Amy's story, I guess, comes through.
Yeah, she gets out of her coma.
Yeah, she was in a coma for 3
What I
months.
would say is, right, obviously the man has escaped, right? But if he knew he could escape out of Ron Perlman's fucking handcuffs, then why did he think he'd be alright in those handcuffs that he made himself in the basement?
Very good point, that. Maybe he didn't have time to fucking find a better option to tie him up.
I mean, true, like, but I wonder where the man went, guys. Will we ever know where this guy went? Will there be a poker night 2? You know what? I'd accept the poker night 2, even though I think 2 of the main reasons why that was good are fucking dead. But regardless, he is free. And then it turns out poker night's still a thing. Just without Calabrese and Maxwell.
Yeah, we've got Jeter having poker night. There's a new officer in there, a new rookie is in poker night, and then Jeter is telling his stories. And it turns out that he didn't actually capture the man.
Nope, it wasn't the man. It was, I don't know if it was a copycat or just some other guy like he framed to do it. I'm not too sure what actually is this. Is it just some other guy or is it simply like a copycat? I'm not too sure. But, you know, you've got Bernard hyping up the fact that Calabrese and Maxwell, we lost 2 good men to that sick fuck. And here is Jeter lying through his teeth saying, we got the bastard.
But yeah, like you said earlier, so, you know, 3% of people committing all the same crimes. You tell the stories about the ones you catch, and then the ones you don't catch, you just try and forget about them.
You try and forget about them, but how could you forget about this? He held Calabrese in such high, you know, I mean, he held him in such high regard, and here he is, throwing him under the carpet. But you know what? It was one of those endings that definitely would set up a second movie. I don't know if there is a second movie personally, but I enjoyed it. There's a lot of theories out there, right, that frame Yeater as the killer, and that he actually is the killer, and that the people that were in the man's flashbacks he used is to help him. Now, I'm not really buying those theories. Are you buying those theories?
No, I don't see that.
Like, for me, like, it only makes sense in certain scenarios where, like, when the police went into the guy who was handcuffed, he wasn't there. But then you've other scenarios where you've got the man who's actually speaking to Calabrese and Maxwell outside the house. Like, how would that work?
Yeah, it doesn't work. I don't buy those theories.
Like, Calabrese shoots him, then goes down to the basement and sees Jeter. So, like, I mean, either it's the same guy or it's 2 different people, man. But anyway, I thoroughly enjoyed this movie. I mean, it was crazy. It was a good reveals, twists, left, right, and centre. I'll give it a solid 7.
I like parts of it. I just found it too hard to follow.
Yes, I think there's a few simple changes you could make, and this movie could seriously almost be like a 9 or something.
Yeah, I thought it was very... I'll give it a 6. I thought it was just too hard to follow. I mean, I liked it, and I thought there was a lot of good scenes in it. And I thought all the individual stories from the detectives were good. But just the way it was told, and the fact that it was very interchangeable, you went from flashback to current time, flashback to current time. And I felt the current time, like kidnapping and being held hostage, I don't know, it seemed a little bit phony to me.
Yeah.
I don't know, it just didn't really seem like it was a serious kidnapping, so to speak.
It seemed like a comedy almost.
It did have a comedy element to me to it.
Yeah, it did. But anyway, guys, that's where we're deciding. We'll be back very soon to rank the characters. And
so that's 6.5.
deaths. 6.5 out of 10. Is that the lowest so far? I don't think so. I believe Quarantine 2 was considerably lower than this. But anyway, guys, till next time. Peace.